Hey y'all, what's going on? It's March the 5th, 2015. I'd like to start off by saying that I plan to start making more and more videos. Um, I recently purchased a new development, this light right here that you see right here shining on my face, so that I can shoot videos at night, which is usually it's a pretty good time, and I get relaxed and I can focus and I had the time to shoot videos. But I didn't have a light earlier, so you wouldn't have been able to see my face. And honestly, I don't think that's responsible. You should be able to see my faces if I'm talking to you on, YouTube or the internet, probably. Anyway, um, I'm probably gonna make a longer video this time. Throw a few different things at you, or whatever. So bear with me. The, First, I like to put out there. A lot of people, they'll ask me sometimes from what I talk about, they'll ask me where do I get the news, and usually I'll tell them, and usually they'll forget because they don't really care. They just, I mean, that's a question that they like to ask, and uh, let me just put it on the internet, I guess, for anybody who's gonna ask later. Most of the time, or I mean, every single day, I'm gonna tell you right now, I do watch Infowars, the Infowars broadcast, almost every day, or listen to it to some extent, maybe not all of it. But it's not at at all close to the only place where I get information. I've been trying to diversify, you know, places and different opinions and the different angles and people who may not necessarily agree with each other. I've been trying to get information from all these places. But like I said, every day I try to tune in to the Infowars broadcast, and this particular day they started off the broadcast speaking on mandated vaccinations again, and they're not going to stop speaking on it. Let me tell you something. If you want to shoot, I mean, this is just universal law. If you want to shoot someone up with some stuff that they don't want, you want to make that mandatory. Something's crazy. You're an authoritarian. This is crazy. And they keep pushing these bills, and they keep putting out their propaganda. So I got to imagine they're not going to stop now because it's already absurd. Um, Anyways, that's how they started out. They have a lot of good points, like they always do. By the way, I mean, I've been following them now for about, what, 5 years? At least 5 years. Time's kind of flown by, but you know what? They've never steered me wrong, anyways. I know a lot of the things that y'all watch on TV are crazy. Freaks me out. I can't walk by my mom's television without being freaked out. I swear, I just walked by the television today early. I just walked by, it took 5 seconds, it told me to get the flu shot. I swear, it less than 5 seconds, it told me to get the flu shot. Hmm? I mean, it's garbage on it. Anyways, and I read flu variant. Go check out the video. I read the flu variant insert officially on the internet. So they cover that. They cover a lot of other stuff. Kind of weather the storm front, if you will. There's a lot of stuff. It usually is. Talking about hundreds of headlines, just stacks of headlines. But later on, Alex he brings on a guest, and see that's the thing about Infowars is they've had hundreds of guests, maybe thousands of guests, and different people with different angles and different expertises, and all sorts of expertises. So, I mean, let me hear one of y'all say that about your news broadcasting. I mean, if he has, let me know because I want to see him too. Usually it's like Anderson Cooper or something like that, and that's crazy. It's crazy. Brian McWilliams or whatever. I never really knew that dude's name to begin with. Anyways, I was watching and eventually they had the guest on. A man by the name of Alan Rich, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he's out of the, well, I don't think he is. He's out of the UK. And he does a lot of, same kind of stuff, trying to uncover stuff, figure stuff out because obviously there's problems. So we had to deal with. Let me just throw this out there. All right, it's problems we had to deal with. I liken it if if you don't really understand what's going on, is I liken it to a sweater. You know what I'm saying? Like a raggedy sweater. And it's kind of tattered. You got strings coming off. Feel say you're blind, you can't see or something like that. You feel these strings, i.e., problems, things that don't add up in the world. And you keep feeling these strings. Eventually, you're gonna understand that there's so many strings. They probably are connected up into a sweater, even if you didn't feel it. You start to realize there's a sweater, and you try and figure out, wow, look at all the strings and how they all fit into a giant web of problems and lies, aka this sweater. Now, if you're one of those liberals and you've ever hinted or implied that someone is a conspiracy theorist, what you're doing is you're um, denying that there is a sweater. You say, "Oh no, I see these strings. I see a string over here and a string over there, but that's no sweater. There's no sweater of evil. What are you, crazy? There's not a devil. There's no devil. There's no sweater of evil." You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, and I don't want to jump the gun, but it is kind of like the atheist outlook that there is no devil. And I've heard that said recently, and it sounds me even today because I know people are kind of getting dumbed down to an extent, but there is no devil. I mean, I can explain a million different instances that would prove to you that there is a devil. You just had to open your eyes and wake up in the morning and you could find that there's a devil and it exists. It's one argument that atheists usually won't win. They tend to believe that, like, morality is subjective, something that everything's kind of chaos. But, anyways, I digress. I'm sorry I digressed so much. But this dude Alan Rich was on the show and he was talking about the pedophiles that pretty much run the UK and the Congress and all the all of the government and all sorts of pedophile. Now this should be considered as outrageous if you were to think that maybe this is true. Maybe this is true. This should be considered outrageous to you. Should make your blood boil. Probably a little bit, at least a little bit boiling. Alright? And they go into great detail. There's been many cases, uh, put against the royal family and all sorts of other people in power about their pedophile nature, which I plan to make another video about, what's his name? Vice President Joe Biden, how much of a pedophile pervert he is. And I've already seen some pretty eloquent speakers on the matter, his pedophile nature. But they were talking about it and how it's a whole big cabal of pedophiles, Satanists, eugenicists. If you haven't heard these terms, look those up, please. Um, he was saying that they run things and whatnot. And we don't want to go down that path. I think he's right. I think when it comes to the gas prices and all the crazy stuff in the Middle East and all the dangers that are being inflicted upon us, forced vaccinations, anything, bad food, pesticides all over it, anything. If you want to take down these people, you got to understand that at the very top of this, all these people, is a great number of people working in this system of oppression around the world. At the very top, you got pedophiles. At least at almost the very top, it's all pedophiles. They all love to rape and murder children, and that's their thing in life. Now, let me tell you something. Speaking on practicalities, now you may already know that I do have aspirations to become a street preacher. I read the Bible 1.25 times before. And by no means does that mean that I know all of the Bible or have any of it memorized. I forgot most of the stories. There's a lot of stories that I cling to and I really, uh, think about all the time, but I have forgotten a lot of it. It's a very long book I plan to read and continue reading of this while I um, embark on my street preacher career. All right. Um, but like I was saying, if there is a cabal of pedophile perverts who run everything, guess who's not going to take them down? Atheists, there's no way, it's impossible. There's never been an army full of atheists. It doesn't make sense. Um, can't band together around nothing. Right? What I want to talk right now about is a true Christian, like I said before, and I'm obviously not talking about the Catholic Church when it comes to pedophiles and being true Christians. All right? I'm talking about real, true Christians and all around the world. And they're willing, no matter how much money's involved, to put these people in judgment for being pedophile weirdos. Because that's not good. It's destructive to society. Only true Christians will be able to stop this. Now, you can have an argument of, because like Muslim people, maybe they think that they can stop it. That's ridiculous. You only, I mean, from what I've heard, I don't even want to get into it, but there's no way you can stop it. But there is an argument that they can't band together and have an army. Yeah, that is true. Atheists, no, they can't. They can't do it. They'll never do it. So, I mean, just by that practicality, you might think, dang, is this definitely not a good idea to not have anything to think about or believe. All right. So there's that. Now, anyways, I'm sorry I saved this to the end of the video, but I seen this girl on YouTube talking recently. I checked out a few of her videos because I saw one video and I really liked it. Or I liked it a little bit, so I checked out some more. And for the most part, what she had to say is pretty poignant. And I like the idea of the fact that she's a young girl. I don't know how old she is, but she's kind of got like a bubbly, infectious personality, and it's a libertarian-minded proactive type of personality, and I like that. I was checking out some of her stuff, and kind of find out she taught me a little bit about this one guy in particular, Steven Crowder, who actually hadn't heard of. I had I hadn't heard him except one time when he was talking to Michelle Malkin. He was interviewing Michelle Malkin on his like radio broadcast, and I heard a little bit of it. I thought it was all right. I like Michelle Malkin. I like a lot of the stuff that I've seen her do and say in the public eye. So I kind of appreciated hearing that. But Katy Khaos, she showed me a video with another fellow who I actually have more. I've seen more of his videos, and I kind of liked him more. Was Adam Kokesh. Can't say I can't say I agree with any of these people completely, and I probably don't. But I liked Adam Kokesh more, and I saw that. Um, I saw that one guy who I just mentioned, Steven Crowder. He wasn't willing at all to have a debate. And you might say, oh, he was busy, or he's too busy to have a debate. If you're too busy to have a debate, you really have no business putting your opinions out on the internet or whatever. You were just standing there doing nothing, taking pictures. You could debate it and taking pictures at the same time, but you didn't want to do that. And it kind of shows the truth. I don't like it when people don't debate. That already shows me a bad sign. But here, I'm going to have to continue this. I have to continue this episode because, I want to go over the 15-minute time limit on YouTube. I got a little bit more to say. Anyways, I'll be back with part 2 about what I was saying about Katy Khaos and the whole Steven Crowder situation. All right?